Good day, boys and girls. Welcome to another lesson in mathematics. Today, we'll be learning about some terms in mathematics. We're going to play a game that says Simon Says. In this game, we will use our body parts to indicate what the terms mean. Here we go. Now, I want you to watch me and do as I am doing, and let's see if we can do what Simon says. Simon says, point to the ceiling. Simon says, stretch your arms out. Simon says, bend your elbow up. Now, boys and girls, what do you think those things are? Remember, we are learning about terms in mathematics. Let's go again. Simon says, point to the ceiling. This is a ray. A ray has one end point and travels in one direction continually. Simon says, stretch your arms out. This signals a line. A line goes on forever in both directions. Simon says, bend your elbow up. This is an angle. Now, boys and girls, I know you are sitting at a point, or you're standing at a point, or if you notice, I am standing at a point. Now, what is a point? A point is a location where you're at. I could be at this point over here, this point here, or I could be at this point here. Now, before we go on, let's look at our objectives for today. Our general objective or attainment target for today is that we will explore paths and or shapes in the environment and relate basic mathematical shapes to everyday life. What's the main objective for today? By the end of this lesson, we should be able to identify and name points, lines, line segments, rays, angles and right angles in our classroom and also in the wider environment. Let's take a closer look at these things. What is a point? A point is shown by a dot. It is named with a capital letter. This is a point. Point A. The dot indicates the location where that point is at. What is a line segment? A line segment is a part of a line that is bounded by two endpoints and contains every point on the line between its endpoints. Example, here we have line segment A to B. A to B line segment cuts away from a line. This is our line going in both directions. Remember when we had our hands stretching out in both directions? Now if I cut here and here in the line, at this point and this point here, here is what we would call our line segment. So we could label line segment A, B. So you see, boys and girls, a line segment is really a part of a line. What is a ray? A ray has one endpoint and go on forever in one direction. A ray cannot be measured because it only has one endpoint. Here is an example of a ray. What is a line? A line travels in two directions forever. A line is sometimes referred to as a straight line. Look at this example. Remember when we had our hands stretched out, boys and girls? That was an illustration of a line. How to use the number line to teach line segments? Here in my hand I have a number line. Now I'll be using my ruler to indicate for you a line segment on this number line. Let's say we are at the number 4. If you move from 4 to 5, that is one line segment. If we move from 5 to 6, that is also another line segment. Let us look at these questions to see if we remember what we have done so far. Can you identify the following? A. If you said a line, you are correct. B. A line segment. C. What do you think C is? It is a ray. Now let's look at the others below. How many line segments are marked off on the following lines? A to B. Remember when we were looking at the number line, we have one line segment there and it is labeled A to B. The other, how many line segments are marked there? We also have one line segment on that line there. Now we'll be singing a song. In this song, you'll be learning a little more about what we have done so far. Here we go. The point that you see, the point that you see, that looks like a dot, is a location in space, in space. The line that you see, runs endlessly, in opposite directions, is made of points, The ray that you see, has an end point, one end point, that runs in one direction, endlessly. The line segment has two endpoints, Remember only endpoints for line segment. Did you enjoy that song? I'm sure you did. Now we're going to move on to the second part of our lesson. What is an angle? An angle is a combination of two rays with a common endpoint. The corner of a shape is called an angle. Here is an example. Here we have two rays, one going in this direction, the other going in this direction here. The point where these two rays meet is called an angle. There are many types of angles. The angle that is formed here is called a right angle. What is a right angle? A right angle is a square corner. Angles are measured in degrees. A right angle measures 90 degrees. Here we have some examples of right angles. Now, boys and girls, I know you're learning a lot of terms in mathematics. Let's see if we can review them. We looked at point, a ray, a line segment, a line, and angle, a right angle. I want you to look around your environment where you are and see if you can identify some right angles. have made a list for you. Charts in the class, those have right angle. Corner of the door, where two walls meet, corner of the cupboard, and the list goes on and on. I want for you to go ahead and add 4 more to the list that I have made here. Here are some questions. Can you draw and name at least 3 polygons that have right angles? Remember, we looked at polygons already. Can you name any for me? A triangle, a rectangle, a square. Remember when we did that lesson, boys and girls? Can you identify at least 3 of those polygons that have right angle? I want you to think about it. Let's look at these letters of the alphabet. Let's see if we can identify any square corner or right angle in any of these letters. Let's look at letter A. Do you have any square corner on that letter? No. Let's go to letter E. Is there any right angle on that letter? Let's do a demonstration. Remember what we said a right angle is? It has a square corner, measures 90 degrees. Here is our letter H. If you look on this letter, can form a right angle here, another one here, another one over here, and another one here. So boys and girls, you see in this letter H, we have identified 4 right angles. Look at these letters carefully and see how many of them have right angles. There are 4 letters which have right angles. These are E, F, H, and L. Give yourself a tap if you got those correct. Now that we have looked at all the terms for today, let's see if we can match these terms to the symbols. Over here on the board, we have on this section the keywords that we encountered in the lesson. Over here we have our symbols. Can you tell me what symbol this is? If you guessed a point, you are correct. So we're going to place the word point under the heading keywords. Let's look at these over here. Can you identify them? If you said line segment, you are correct. So over here we put line segments.
Okay, pause.
Look closely at these symbols over here. Can you remind me of what their names are? If you said raise, you are correct. Let's look at this one closely. What is the name of this symbol? If you guessed line, then you are correct.
Oh, come again, man. From there, 2 more to go.
There are 2 more to go. Let's look at these. Did you guess angles? Then you are correct. Look at these angles here. Can you remind me of the name that is given to these angles? If you guessed right angles, then you are correct. Now, let's go through our chart. Look closely at the symbols. Let's call the names. Point, line segments, raise, line, angles, and right angles. I know, boys and girls, that you will remember these terms that we learned today. Let's see if we achieved our objective. Did we identify and name point, lines, line segment, raise, angles, and right angles? I'm sure we did. You can now go on your own, boys and girls, and do these examples in your mathematics workbook. At Unit 20, pages 84 and 85 in the Primary Mathematics for Jamaica, Grade 3, you'll find a lot of examples that you can do on your own. Also, I want you to draw sketches of these. Line segment, ray, line, angles, and right angles. Here is a fun activity you can do on your own. You will use lines, rays, line segments, and points to create a design of your own. Look carefully at the shape below. How many right angles are in the shape below? If you guessed 4, you are correct. Finally, let's see if we can remember what we did today. And this little game is called What Am I? What am I? I am similar to a full stop. I indicate location. What am I? If you said point, you are correct. I have 2 endpoints. What am I? If you said a line segment, you are correct. I have no endpoints. What am I? Did I hear line? You are correct. I have 1 endpoint and an arrow. What am I? Did you say array? You are correct. I'm sure you learned a lot today. And when you get back to school, I want you to practice to use these terms. Practice to use them at home and remember them all the time. Thank you.